I want to review how to simplify radicals. Now, if we have, you know, we're kind of familiar with some of these. If we did one that was square root of 4, we know that the square root of 4 is 2. And we know that the square root of 16 is 4. So we're familiar with some of these already. However, these are nice when they're perfect square because they come out really nice as a whole number for us. We want to work on a couple that are not perfect squares, such as the square root of 8. The first thing that you want to try to do on these is try to break them down to find out what all of their parts are, their multiples in it. So now that would be the same thing. 8 is the same thing as the square root. And I just do this big, huge square root sign. My factors of 8, I go, well, this is 4 times 2, and this is 2 times 2. Okay, so inside of this radical, it's going to be 2 times 2 times 2. I did my factor tree, 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, once you've done all this out, this square root thing right here, it's a square root because there's actually a 2 here. Sometimes you'll see it written as 2 square root of 4. That equals 2. That one is the only time that I can think of right offhand that we don't have a 1. If there's not one written, it's actually a 2. Okay, so this is a square root. And this 2 indicates how many pairs that we have to have in order to pull them outside of the radical. So in other words, we're kind of looking for our twins. I've talked about that in class. So of these right here, I need 2 of the same number in order to pull them out. In this case, I see these 2 right here have the same number. What I typically do is I just circle them. Then I draw an arrow that those go outside of the radical. And when they come out on the outside of the radical, that leaves you with just 1. You only bring one of them outside. This is going to be 2 square root of 2. Okay, so the square root of 8 is the same thing as 2 square root of 2. And we can look at this too if we wanted to. This is the same thing as the square root of 4 times 2. Well, we know what the square root of 4 is. Square root of 4 times square root of 2, that's the same thing. We know that the square root of 4 is 2. So then it's 2 square root of 2. 2 times the square root of 2. Okay, let's do one that's a little bit more complicated. Let's do the square root of 20. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is my factor tree and see what I've got here. See, I've got 4 times 5. Well, I know that this one's a perfect square. I can continue on, and that works out perfect. Or you can stop right there and go, okay, I know it's 4, I got to bring it out, that's going to be a 2. But if you want to do it this way, this is perfectly fine as well. It's equal to the square root of 2 times 2 times 5. 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 gives us our 20, so we know we're okay. Again, here I'm looking for my twins. Again, my twins this time are 2. So I take those 2, I pull them out. This leaves me with 2 square root of 5, and that is the radical in its simplest form.